Welcome to episode 3 of Small Business Sit-Downs. I'm here with Micha Solomon, owner of Invictus Fitness and OmahaDepot.com.
That's correct.
Thank you for joining me, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thanks for
good.
having me.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about your businesses to get started off, and
Invictus Fitness, basically a group fitness training studio that I have. I previously had a much bigger gym called Dynamic Fitness. And that one I owned with a partner, and we split ways, and then I opened up my own branch, Invictus Fitness. Invictus means unconquerable. I really love the meaning behind it and just what it represents. And there's also a famous poem that goes along with it. You've probably heard the Captain of My Soul poem before, a very famous poem.
Yeah.
So I just like what that represented. And the other is OmahaDepot.com. So Omaha Depot is an e-commerce business selling high-quality electronics, and a portion of those proceeds go towards the nonprofit that I also work for, which is Rejuvenating Women.
Okay.
And
I guess what does the nonprofit kind of do? Would you be able to go into that a little bit more?
Yeah, so the nonprofit Rejuvenating Women is all about human trafficking. We save girls from human trafficking and we rehabilitate them. So we have facilities, housing, food, therapists, you name it. We do everything for these girls to try and get them to just overcome the trauma that they've been through.
Yeah.
And in hopes of getting them back out there and just reintegrating with society and being able to get a job and provide and just be normal. I mean, these girls were basically against their will taken into the industry of sex slavery.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that it's just, lower class areas where it's happening. I mean, it happens everywhere.
Sure.
People from good families, everywhere in the world. And it's a huge epidemic right now.
Oh, absolutely. If you'd like to be a part of the solution, OmahaDepot.com, part of the proceeds that goes towards that nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And so you can check out more there. I guess, how long have you been owning businesses?
Well, how long have I been owning businesses?
So, I guess, when did you start your entrepreneurial path?
I would say it was probably after the army that everything, I started off personal training, and personal training, I had my own business doing that, but I never really looked at myself as being an entrepreneur. And even though I did very well for myself, I decided in 2009 to go to Israel and join the army and kind of just give myself to something bigger.
Okay.
Then I was, living in LA and, training celebrities and professional athletes. It was fantastic, but it was all very superficial, and I just wanted to give more of myself. I was looking for deeper meaning, something more. So. Went to Israel, ended up serving special forces, and it opened my eyes a lot to how much we take for granted and how much we have to give back, truly. And so it started with, after the army, I started a program for lone soldiers, which are kids coming from all around the world, that want to join the army in Israel, as I did. And it was a preparation program. So I just prepared them mentally, physically, for the army. They were all doing the same as I did, very selfless act, giving up their lives either before studies, after studies, and putting their lives on the line for just a greater cause. Mm-hmm. So I know you can relate with that too.
Yeah.
So for me, I wanted to start giving back, and it was important because I didn't have that before joining the army, and I didn't know all the resources that were available, and things just started becoming more and more available to lone soldiers and people who did what you and I did. And started this program, and this was specifically for kids that wanted special forces. So that was a big part of it, was starting that. And then just from everything, experiencing everything that I did in the army, I don't need to go into detail, but it just, it made me realize how much I just want to give to those who are in need. And, so using my skills as a Krav Maga instructor, counterterrorism expert, I found this amazing organization, Rejuvenating Women, got involved with them right in the beginning, started giving towards them. I sit on the board as the security advisor, and also teaching the women Krav Maga, because Krav Maga is a Israeli fighting system, self-defense, and their pimps are always trying to bring them back into sex slavery, and this is just a way that they can defend themselves. And they're all amazing women with amazing stories, and my heart breaks for them. So anything that I can do to give to them, and at the time coming back, I didn't have any money, but I had skills that I could offer. So I was actually working at the Lydia House, which is battered women in downtown Omaha, teaching battered women self-defense. Also another nonprofit empowering young women, teaching them self-defense. And then I started the gym, and with the gym we always gave back. We always organized boot camps that were free, essentially, but you had to give a donation towards whatever the cause might be. And it might be someone in our local community that was in a really bad accident that needed help financially to pay for hospital bills, or things like the human trafficking, and just anything that was a good cause we would kind of stand behind. And I just try and give back as much as possible, and creating this website, not only obviously would I love to create passive income for myself, but more than that, a large portion of those proceeds are going to go towards the organization Rejuvenating Women and helping with the human trafficking. So yeah.
I guess you said you owned the gym before you started your two current projects, so that you owned with someone, correct? And so I guess, what kind of differences have you noticed as a business owner between having a partnership and just a sole proprietorship on your own?
So first of all, I have an amazing, let's say, mentor, not a full-time mentor, but someone to give me great advice, an amazing entrepreneur, which was my father. And my father always said to me, don't get a business partner if you don't have to have one. And I always thought, that's silly. If you can get along with someone else and you guys share a vision, there's no reason why you can't do something together. And I can see the pros and cons of what he said, but in this case it was definitely a lot of cons. And we just didn't see eye to eye on anything, really. And I was doing, it was a 50-50 partnership, and I was doing everything. I mean, I was there from 5 a.m. until 9 at night, trying to build the business, expand the business. We have a local award, as you know, Best of Omaha, that we got in less than a year of being open.
Wow.
And for us, that was kind of cool. It holds some credibility in Omaha. And when the guy sat down with me and asked me, how did you rally to get people to vote for you for Best of Omaha? I said, I didn't even think of it like to rally for it. Yeah. So that was pretty amazing that we got Best of Omaha, even though we didn't ask people to vote for us or anything. And people recognize, I guess, when you are offering a good service and when you really care about what you do. So I was trying to do everything. We had a good role. We turned a profit our first year, which a lot of businesses do not.
Very hard to do.
Right.
Yeah.
It usually takes 2 years,
or 3,
right, just to get your investment back and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
And gym equipment's very expensive, and there was a big investment. We ended up making a profit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the money that we put back into the business for advertising, marketing, things like that, but we still came out with a profit, which was incredible.
Oh, absolutely.
For our first year. And then we just, we had conflictions with what we wanted to do with the business, and my business partner then wanted out of the business.
Oh, wow.
And you know, I don't want to get into details,
Just kind
but
of got some friction going.
yeah, there was just a lot of bad juju, a lot of bad energy there,
Yeah.
and
Time to get
I
out on
decided,
your own?
to just go out on my own.
Totally
much better.
understandable.
Being on your own is scary. It is. You accept a lot of risks. It's much nicer when you have other people with you to accept those risks with you.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, I find that it's much more rewarding because you can do it exactly the way you want to do it. And I am, you know, blessed to have gone as far as I did with my old business partner. I think now is just going to be huge, doing it myself. And I've had people asking me for months now, when's it going to open, when's it going to open?
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. So
That's great.
yeah.
Well, best of luck on that.
Thank you,
Sounds like
thank
it'll
you,
be
thank
great.
you,
Yeah.
thank you.
When you had the gym, I'm assuming now you don't have like employees working for you.
Right.
So when you had the gym, I guess, how would you work to keep your employees motivated to like be happy, ready to come into work every day with a smile on your face?
Right. So this was something that I also tried taking from my father's playbook, because in South Africa, he would always, every week, he would bring the employees together and ask them, how can we make things better? Not just for the business, but for everyone here, for the employees. And they would sit down and they would just throw out whatever, you know, there's nothing too outlandish that you can't just throw out there. Like, so everyone just kind of gave their opinion, and it was really nice that there was this open forum of how can we, you know, make things better. And I thought that we could do that at first, but here's the difference. So my gym, we didn't have employees, but they were independent trainers. So they would, essentially it's their own business, but they would pay us to use the space. It became a big conflict of interest a lot of times for our boot camp members, then wanting to train with them, and them thinking that they had more power as themselves being essentially a separate entity or business owner. They thought that they had a say in how things needed to be ran at the gym. And simple things like, you know, the music. You know, this music's horrible, you know. And I would say to them, listen, this, you know, everybody here has a different taste in music. Everybody. So keeping the peace was extremely difficult.
So what kind of tactics would you use for like conflict resolution to keep the peace as the owner?
So my biggest thing is come into the situation without an ego. If you come in with an ego, with emotion, this is business. There shouldn't be emotions involved. It should just be logic. So if I felt as if I was angry about something, I would give it a little time to get in touch with my emotions, and I would sit everyone down and just say, hey, let's talk about this without an ego. Let's just chat it out and see what kind of conclusion or resolution that we can come to.
And so I guess throughout your transition of opening businesses, what kind of unexpected, I guess, difficulties have you come across that maybe 20/20 hindsight, you're like, well, I could have prepared better for this if I had thought about it a little bit more? Just like for maybe someone that's wanting to open up a business coming up, and like, you know, something that they might not be expecting to be prepared for.
Lots of things. We learn essentially by our faults and by mistakes. I mean, that's the only way we can get better. And you have to fail. You have to fail, and you have to learn from those mistakes.
I guess, do you have any final comments, maybe anything to say to the viewers?
I think probably my biggest thing to you guys is what drives me in business is not just providing for myself and my family, but it's giving back. When you are giving back, whether if you don't have the funds, some sort of skill, something that you can do for other people, for nonprofits, for just volunteer work. It doesn't cost anything. Just I would say that's probably my biggest thing is if you give back at least 10% of yourself, of your earnings, that will come back tenfold to you. And I think that will be a game changer when your priorities are in line like that. So I think if every entrepreneur started doing that, we could make a huge difference to the world. And you know, it shows people who you are as a person, and it makes them want to do business with you.
Great advice.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'll tag him on it. If you give him a follow him on Facebook, see when his classes are starting up.
Absolutely.
Be sure to check it out.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Next week, I sit down with Sarah Spooner of Four Sisters Boutique. She tells us about her store's unique text-to-order function, where customers can simply text their order and receive it in the mail. Be sure to tune in to Small Business Sit Down.